start off by saying, do I think Twisted Metal 2012 is a bad game? No. But I do believe some of the flaws it has kind of can outweigh the good things about it that I enjoy. Most recent playthrough of this game, it has caused me to push it down further than I normally would on my ranking. But if you're new here and you didn't see my first video, go back and watch me rank the lowest game in the series and come back. Link to playlist in the description below. So what made me decide to rank this game lower? Well, there's a few key points, but just some overall flaws that have become annoying the more and more I play it. My biggest complaint with Twisted Metal 2012 is the amount of stuff it takes to play it, or essentially all the steps involved. See, Twisted Metal 2012 is the only one that you were required to either play on a PlayStation 3 or have an emulator. All the other games you could emulate, play on the original consoles, or a step up, or play on PlayStation Classic now, which is not necessarily Twisted Metal 2012's fault, but what are you going to do? 2012, Small Brawl, and Head On being the only ones that are not currently on PlayStation Plus. We can blame that on Sony. Playing solely on a console or emulation that is very poor, by the way, it sucks. I don't go grab it off the shelf anytime soon. Let's get into why I rank this game so low. Lack of storyline or character personality or car personality. Now, I should mention that this game went from solely being an online game to having the developers be pushed by Sony to add a campaign and story mode. A lot of this is due to them just being rushed on a time crunch. I have 3 characters to choose from, but a lot of vehicles. Those 3 characters are Mr. Grimm, Dollface, and Sweet Tooth. No choice to pick any 3 of them at first. You have to play as Sweet Tooth, then Mr. Grimm, then Dollface. Mr. Grimm having the most interesting story out of all 3. And if I'm being completely honest, a lot of the cars are bland, generic, and unoriginal, and they're just carbon copies of the other. Kamikaze and Crimson Fury having almost the exact same, if not the same, specials. Death Warrant and Roadkill are the same way. Slight differences. Meatwagon and Shadow are the worst defenders in my opinion, but I feel like if they would have left half the cars they made out and maybe just like kept half in design, they would have been fine, but just to have this many is kind of, useless. I mean, a majority of the cars that are unlocked are not that great, and the ones you unlock, they kind of take a while to unlock, and even then, you really don't use them. Like, Talon, Shadow, and Roadkill I only used on specific missions. Roadkill and Talon were because they were forced. I kind of used Talon this time more than I usually would, but it's not even that great. Kind of sucks, so I don't even really want to use it. Even once you unlock them, they're really not even needed. Like, Crimson Fury I only used for one race, and even then, if I wanted to, I could use Kamikaze to do that race without it, but it's just kind of faster in my opinion, so that's why I used it. Talon is the worst offender when it comes to this, because I only use it on the final boss because you have to. Other than that, when I was trying to be like, hey, let me see how Talon actually works, it is terrible, it sucks, there's no point in using it. Yes, it's a helicopter, and I know they were trying to do something cool, but it's not worth using at any point other than when it is forced. It wouldn't bother me as much if half the cars you have to unlock wouldn't be iconic staples of the series. Like Roadkill, for example, you unlock and then immediately use as a forced car in the next mission, and I never used it after that. Axel, another example. Yes, once you unlock him, you don't have to really do it every time you restart a game, but if you go to a different console, you have to hook up to the internet, and that bothered me back in the day because I didn't have internet. I never used him. I didn't use him this time either because the update never came for me to use it, and it's kind of late at this point. Shadow, another iconic character from the series, being handed to you the second mission from the last, which I used to fight the final boss, the beginning part of it, but other than that, it's like, why would I go back and restart with it? I mean, it's kind of stupid to have a really good iconic car like that be at the last moment. And even the characters' cars in the beginning, I only use Reaper more than I do Sweet Tooth because I don't really care for this version of Sweet Tooth, and I don't know if Dollface's specific car, like if it's supposed to be Darkseid or Juggernaut, but neither of them really used except for Darkseid when I used on one harder mission towards the end. The only reason I use Mr. Grimm special compared to everybody else is it's super OP when it comes to the Juggernaut boss fights through half the game, because there's like 3 or 4 of them. To have character cars made that sometimes you just go out of your way not to use because they're not that great, it's kind of just sad. Some cars having weaker specials and just not competing compared to their other counterparts of the same special. You know what they say, quality over quantity. Levels/events. I'm not saying the levels are completely bland, but they're repetitive. A lot of times you'll be going back to the same area again and again for a boss fight, for a race, for an event, for a deathmatch, whatever. Don't get me wrong, some of the levels are really fun and cool in design, but some of them it's just I'm tired of seeing like Watkins Harbor or Diesel City or a certain Coliseum level. I like Metro Center because it's like cool version of New York, but having repetitive levels that change in size and keep coming back is not really fun. I will say it is a mix-up for most of the time where it's just killing all the enemies through a stage and moving on. You know, that's fun, but how much can you have before it gets just boring and bland? Order feels the same too. Like you'll have a death match, some fancy version of Endurance where there's an electric cage or something, mid-movie, Juggernaut fight, race, yada yada yada, boss fight, and next chapter. You can enjoy levels like Thrills and Spills. To be honest, but some of the events don't also fit with the level you're doing it on. There shouldn't be a race on Diesel City where you're driving across rooftops. It's not enjoyable. The other rooftop level is fun, but racing in Diesel City sucks because you're on a rooftop racing in a car in a game that was not built around racing, and the mode doesn't fit well. The controls suck. It's just not made well. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy most of the races except for the Diesel City one, and I think it's not super hard to do any of them that one. It's fun that the second race also has a death match between 3 other opponents. Dear God, you're going to spend a lot of time on the third race restarting, because if you miss a certain checkpoint, you have to go back for it, and you have to drive up into a building and do a bunch of turns and spins to get to the right checkpoint, and it's just not fun for me. I enjoy the concept of being on a map and having to move from spot to spot, staying inside a circle or you would blow up. Some events it's easy to get hung up on them because they are difficult for no good reason. Figuring out a strategy is where it works. For example, in the races, pick Kamikaze or Crimson Fury and you'll win every time. But depending on who you picked, you need to make sure you take out the other version first. If you pick Kamikaze, make sure you take out Crimson Fury on the race so you can't be beat by them, because they will outrun you. Vice versa with Crimson Fury to Kamikaze. When it comes to Juggernaut fights, I recommend having Reaper because it can one-shot with a flaming chainsaw on the front panel of Juggernaut every single time, and then switching over to a vehicle with more armor afterwards, because the enemies are going to be difficult and unforgiving. When it comes to the fight for your life event, make sure you pick Darkseid, because you can easily take a lot of damage and kill most of your enemies pretty quick, seeing that there's 14 in total. Aside from a few annoying events and the really shitty boss fights that we'll get into later, these events only gave me a headache because I was a little bit rusty, but they can still be really fun. I'd argue my favorite event is the cage ones where you move from one side of the map to the other and stay inside the circle. Especially in the New York map, it's really fun to slide around on the ice. But half the levels I really didn't get to use any of the in-level stuff that would be pretty fun to use. AI. I'd like to say that the AI in this game are annoying as fuck and all scumbag piece of shit. They're mostly all factions that you fight against because they just decided it was a faction thing in this game based off the online stuff, I guess. They had to be designed with rage bait. It pisses me off that 2 of the 3 boss fights involve them running around while you're trying to fight the boss, and it's just really stupid and fucking annoying. They will kick your ass across the map. Don't be around a lot of them because they will just tear you apart, curb stomp you, make you bite the curb, bro. It is ridiculous. I mean, especially if they're in Rowboat, that piece of shit car that has a magnet on the front of it. They are relentless. And I'd like to apologize from the past video of Twist Metal 3 where I said that nowhere else in this series I've seen them run towards health. I was wrong. I never noticed in this game before, but if that fucking health truck is around, which is a stupid idea in my opinion, I just prefer the pads, they will drive into it and you cannot stop them if you don't have a freeze missile, and they will get health every fucking time. Even worse on the Juggernaut fights where more can respawn, and if you kill Juggernaut first, they will beat the shit out of you like you just killed their mom or something. It's fucking ridiculous. They're annoying to be seen in the Sweet Tooth car because they'll just fly around as the robot all the time and it's hard to kill them. Sometimes they'll make free throws from fucking outer space and get you out of nowhere when they weren't even near you with some weapon, and it's like, where did it even come from? They'll gang up on you like there's no tomorrow. I feel like they take forever to kill. Don't ever get near Juggernaut unless you're gonna insta-kill it because it will destroy you. Boss fights. Ever since I got my hands on this game when it came out, I love Brothers Grimm's fight. I mean, it's monster trucks, 2 of them, you gotta fight them in a small area. It's like, you know, cool and rad, and nothing, words can't explain how awesome this fight is to me. Albeit tedious. I mean, you have to get one damaged enough and the other, and then when one is killed, the other one puts on this metal shield and you have to go through this setup, you know, but it's not as bad as the other boss fights in this game. I loathe the other boss fights. Brings me to the second boss fight, Iron Maiden. What a fucking piece of shit. I don't know who came up with the idea for this boss fight, but they can go fuck themselves. They can never talk about what 989 Studios did to this game series because Jesus fucking Christ, they fucked us. I mean, think about it. You're in the desert on the side of a cliff, hey, and you're gonna have to kill a faction leader and sacrifice him to shoot a missile at a robot that's flying in the air, and there's limos everywhere, and they're fighting you too, and guess what? When you go to load them into the missile, you can't defend yourself with anything but the machine guns that are terrible, and it's just, it glitched out at one point, and I had to, do something to restart the fight, and it's just, they're so stupid. The AI will constantly push you off the edge. There's no health around. It's supposed to be hard, but it just fucking sucks. Then the machine you launch the person into to shoot the missile moves, so you have to fall, which isn't even as hard as when it's sitting still, but the enemies are just surrounding you, and they knock you out of the circle every time, and you can't do anything about it. They put health in the way that so an enemy, the faction leader you're after, will drive into it at some point, so it takes longer to kill them. They have like boss level health, it feels like. It's just a garbage boss fight. It's the worst in the series. I thought Twisted Metal 3 was bad with boss fights. I forgot how much I hated this one. It's like Call of Duty level of Easter egg bullshit you have to go through to finish it. Mind you, this is not even the final boss fight. It's the second boss fight. It's so fucking stupid. Which brings us to our final boss fight, the Carnival of Darkness. Dear fucking God. It's like 3 layers of hell you have to go through, and it's cool in my opinion. I like it as a design better than Iron Maiden, but fucking Christ, dear God, it is so bad. First part of it gave me some trouble again, but it's been a while since I played this. But you have to basically, there's a head that shoots flame you have to destroy to go up under. It's this giant moving contraption that goes on the road because it's Sweet Tooth's followers. Then the second part is you have to take these little bomb clown guys and put them on this ramp and launch them into this face to open up a door, which is stupid. It can be fun, but not when you're tired at night and trying to finish up recording a video. Then you have to go through an obstacle course to get to the top, to the helicopter, which sucks, and that's annoying. It's like, it's super hard, but it gets even worse because you get frustrated because you're trying to finish it, so you're just kind of going through it really quick and hitting everything and dying constantly. Then, icing on the cake, there's a giant robot head that you have to take out by taking Sweet Tooth cars that are flying in the air, gunning them down if they have no health, picking them up with the helicopter, then flying it to the top of the head to destroy it. It only takes like 4 tries, but it's a lot harder when you don't know what you're doing. I recommend Mega Guns for this if you're going to do it instead of the gun on the side of the helicopter, because you have to shoot sideways and it sucks. I'm going to make a U-turn back to the plot lines. I prefer Mr. Grimm's out of the rest. I like his story, how it kind of relates to the story of Ghost Rider in a way, making a deal with the devil to save his dad and it going wrong. I do like the contrast between that and Sweet Tooth and Dollface's story, because he's technically evil based on the excuse that because his father died, life sucks or whatever, and that he's just going to do evil things, and he used to be good. Sweet Tooth is just a nut job who went crazy, blaming it on an inner demon in him, and Dollface being some beauty, selfish, like dependent on her beauty, evil, crazy lady who gets injured in a car crash and goes nuts. They're being screwed over by Calypso in disguise. The fact that Calypso is probably the devil, preacher plotline, all this stuff. Nobody believes in the Twisted Metal contest. I just wish we had more fleshed out characters than just 3. When it comes to the soundtrack, it's very diverse and pretty cool. It's like a pretty good soundtrack. I enjoy it. Got some funny notes to it. There's like a little Santa run around New York when you're there, and they bring up Twisted Metal 3 in one of the Coliseum fights, but I feel like it's just a sad way to end the series, you know? It's not a fun collect-a-thon. There's a lot of stuff you can unlock by doing a lot of like gold medals and doing like all twisted insanity, whatever difficulty, and it's like, I will never play as Warthog. I'll never have the laser gun because I refuse to go out of my way to do it. It's too difficult. It's just not worth it. I've tried. I just don't think the content is worth the effort. Well, the movies can be a little cheesy. You know, what can you do? They tried. They were on a time crunch. They didn't probably have a really huge budget, but I like them for what it's worth. The actors do okay. I really like Mr. Grimm's acting, even for what it's worth. We really never see his mouth move, but the way he talks about things is just pretty cool, albeit corny. I just think me and this game have grown apart, you know. I enjoyed it when I was younger. I remember getting it and fighting for my turn on the PS3 because I wanted to play it so bad. Never really played the multiplayer or the online, so I don't think I'm really into that, and I don't feel like I ever missed anything when it comes to that, so game really had a hold on me. I mean, I remember for the longest time, Dollface's Juggernaut fight halfway through, I got stuck on for a long time, and it took me a really long time to beat it. I just really had a hard time, and when I finally beat it, I was happy to finally get past that through the rest of the game. I mean, every time I play it, I learned something new about it I didn't know before, but it's just not one I'm really picking up off the shelf these days. Unfortunately, there's just games in the series that I prefer over it right now, and those are going to go higher up. I really wish Sony would just bring back the online servers and make it playable on PS5 so more people can get into it. I think people would enjoy it enough to where we get another Twisted Metal game, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I mean, there's other game series that I've played that ended on a truly poor note, and this one's kind of sad, but at the same time, like, it's still a fun game, in my opinion, but there's just other games I prefer now. So stay tuned when we talk about a game I've always felt indifferent about.